Hey, what's up everybody? This is Geeky Abhishek once here again from here in Dallas, Texas, and today I'm bringing you the review of the Nokia 3.1A, which is an AT&T exclusive from AT&T Prepaid and Walmart. I was looking for a cheap AT&T prepaid phone primarily because AT&T has an offer with Walmart right now going on till I think October, where if you buy a AT&T prepaid device from Walmart and you activate that, then for $40 a month you can get unlimited talk, text, and 25 gigs of 4G LTE data. And you have to sign up for autopay to get the $40, plus you pay taxes, so it comes about $45 a month. And I think for being on AT&T network with no contracts, you know, $45 a month, 25 gigs of data is actually, you know, a very good plan if you have good AT&T service where you live. If you don't want to sign up for the autopay, then you lose the $10 discount. So basically you get you know, for $50 you get 25 gigs of unlimited data. What's good about this plan is that you can actually also combine multiple lines and you get discounts. So you can get like 4 lines for $120, or you can get 5 lines for $140. So basically between 28 and 30 plus taxes, you can get each line with 25 gigs of data and then unlimited talk and text, which is actually pretty good. But for this offer, you have to buy a AT&T prepaid phone from Walmart and get it activated there. If you were to buy a phone directly from AT&T stores or AT&T.com online, or if you were just to buy an AT&T SIM card and activate, they also have an offer for that. Usually for the same price you get 8 gigs of 4G LTE data and unlimited talk and text, so they will double your data, so you get like another 8 gigs, so basically you'll get 16 gigs of data. So if you are not interested in buying a phone and signing up for this promotion, then you can sign up for the other promotion, which is 16 gigs of data for $40 a month. So the reason I was looking into this is because right now I'm on Sprint, and I did sign up for the 1-year BYOD free plan. Sprint has been mostly good, but I mean, I have traveled outside of the US internationally, and Sprint had pretty good coverage. You know, I went to Canada, it worked really good. I went to India, it worked pretty good. But unfortunately, where I work, my office building, Sprint has 0 coverage. So, you know, it made sense when it was for free and just the taxes every month. Now that I have to pay a lot more for that service, I would want to have a service where I can make and receive calls and have data, where I spend most part of my time of the day, so which is at my work. So I was looking for a plan, and I found this plan and signed it up. Now I was looking for different phones that you can buy, like different AT&T prepaid phones that you can buy from Walmart, and I did find the cheapest phone was a flip phone from Singular. It was about $30, and then there were some Alcatels and some other LG phones which were between $40–50. And I looked up at the reviews. None of the reviews looked impressive. Most of them complained that the phones were actually barely usable. They were so bad, so slow that it would actually hang even on a fresh boot. So I decided, heck, you know, if I have to use a phone, I needed something which is at least decent enough. So I kept looking, and then I figured there was this Nokia 3.1A, which is basically, you know, kind of a Android One device. So you will always continue to get the latest Android updates directly from Google. It was only $89. So I looked at the specs. It looked like, you know, decent. It has a 5.45 inch HD plus display. So basically the resolution is I think 720 into 1440p. It has 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage, 2990 mAh battery. So everything looked good on the paper, so I decided to get it. But the reason I'm doing this review is, like, if you are like me thinking that this phone is much more expensive than the other cheap prepaid phones, so this should work a little better, I was wrong, let me tell you. I mean, this phone from the beginning has been really frustrating experience. Everything is so damn slow with this phone. Everything takes, like, even for basic social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all of even to launch those apps, there's at least 5 to 6 seconds delay before the app would load, and then the things inside the app takes about another couple of seconds to load. So that's how much patient you have to be if you're using this phone. Other than that, the battery life is not phenomenal. So for such a low spec phone and with a 3000 mAh battery, I expected a much better battery life, but it's not bad, but it's not what I would have expected. I was actually expecting their claim of 2-day battery life to be true, but no, it's not. I mean, it would serve you for a day, and that's about it, and that too even with mild to moderate usage, not for a heavy user. The days where I have used this phone heavily, I had to charge in the evening. I couldn't make it all through the day. So battery life isn't that impressive either. When it comes to the camera, it does have an 8 megapixel camera on the rear with an LED flash and a 5 megapixel camera on the front. The cameras aren't impressive, and I wasn't expecting the cameras to be great either because this is such a low price phone. But the cameras are also decent. In good lighting conditions, I would say the camera does fairly well, but there's absolutely no dynamic contrast and all that, but it is usable. So if you were taking a picture just for documenting something, I wouldn't actually upload it on the social media because it looks so bad. So I don't want people to think I really have a crappy phone. So but if you were to take a picture, like suppose you want to, somebody gave you their business card and you want to document that and keep the number handy, you can click a pic. You have a receipt that you want to save, you can take a picture. For those purposes the camera works just fine, but I don't think it's a good camera for any of your social media thing. I wouldn't upload that. I don't think you will find you can take a picture which is social media worthy with this phone. But the camera is not as bad as like some phones which claims 8 megapixel or 12 megapixel and the picture comes out like a a VGA camera phone. It is not like that. It's definitely like the old days when you had the Nokia N series phones, but initially they would have 1.3 or 2 megapixel cameras. That's how the picture from the cameras look on this phone. So let's go ahead and let me show you how this phone is. So in terms of software, this phone is running the Android 9 and it's already been updated to the June security patch. So in terms of software, I think you will continue to receive the updates as promised because this is kind of an Android 1 phone. In terms of construction, the whole phone is actually made of polycarbonate. There's no metal anything, and the phone feels pretty solid in the hand. It doesn't feel cheap. It actually looks pretty nice. It's kind of reminiscent of the the old Nokia Lumia phones, so it feels very solid. The back is removable, but for the battery is non-removable. This is only for accessing your SIM card and your memory card. It has 32 gigs of internal storage, but honestly, like the usable is 20 gigs, and then AT&T has a shit ton of bloatware in it, so the usable space for a user is about 5 to 6 gigs. Unfortunately, from the 20 gigs, you can uninstall. I did uninstall many of the apps and reclaim some of the space. Yeah, so let's go and look at the specs on here. I have CPU-Z installed, so as you can see, it's actually powered by the Qualcomm. Okay, so this is the problem. Hold on, I don't want this ad. Okay, so this is actually, as you can see, it says Nokia 3.1A and it's powered by the Snapdragon 429. It's a 5.45 inches. Screen resolution is 720 into 1440. The 295 dpi. Total RAM is about 1.8 gigs. and then your internal storage is about 20 gigs, out of which you have like about 15.88 gigs available. I think that's pretty much the specs. In terms of display, well, it is just I wouldn't say it's mind-blowing, but it gets sufficiently bright in direct sunlight, so it's usable. But there's a bug with the auto display, so sometimes it just kind of struggles, and it's a little bit more aggressive and turns the display down a little bit more than my preference, so I have to manually actually adjust the brightness. But other than that, I mean, overall the display is fine for a 720p display. It's not the sharpest, so you can see the pixels like if holding up close, but other than that, I mean, I wasn't expecting like a fantastic display or anything, but overall the display isn't bad. I mean, the display isn't bad. But now let's look at how the performance of the phone is. This is the dialer app. So this is how long it takes, you know, a few seconds to launch these apps, you know, Instagram. There's quite a bit of delay in launching any of these social media apps. Twitter takes a while. I mean, even though I have actually launched these apps before, still, I mean, if it's in the background, but still for it to come back up, it takes so much of time. And if I was launching it fresh, it would actually take a whole 5 seconds for those apps to launch. So everything is pretty slow, and most of the times when you are doing stuff on this, it seems like this phone is struggling to keep up. So overall, you know, in terms of user experience, I'm not very happy about this phone. What's funny is a couple of years back, I did buy the Moto E4 from Verizon for $40, and that phone is, I still have that phone and it works really good till today. And I mean, it never had this issue of, you know, the apps were being so slow. It only had 2 gigs of RAM too, and but it doesn't struggle like this phone as much as. So I think Nokia and AT&T, they both need to actually work on the software optimization, because the hardware is decent and it should perform well, at least not the level of flagships, but at least as at an usable level. But for some reason it's not. I have tried resetting the phone, you know, several times, so I'm not making this review just like after a day. So I had this phone for a few days now, and I have actually did a lot of tweaks, like I actually uninstalled all the bloatware, you know, I did a factory reset and reinstalled everything up on fresh, but I'm not impressed. So if I was you, while this phone, you know, in terms of, it doesn't feel like it's a cheap phone, but you know, it's close to $100. I think you can do better with $100 elsewhere. I mean, even you can buy the Moto G6 from Google Fi and keep the service for a month and then cancel it, and you can get that Google Moto G6 for $100, and that phone is much more faster and usable than this one. I mean, this just even the most simplest, like the most simple apps, it seems like it's struggling to keep up with anything. It's always like choking and dying, so it's not a good feel. So, you know, I'm probably gonna return this phone so that you guys don't have to go through the hassle. I thought of making this review because when I bought this phone, I didn't see a whole lot of, I couldn't even find any reviews, and for some reason both AT&T and Nokia doesn't want you to know how much RAM this phone has, because the international version of this phone comes with 2 different variants, one with the 16 gig storage variant and the other is a 32 gig storage variant. So apparently the 16 gig storage variant has 2 gigs of RAM and the 32 gig has 3 gigs of RAM. So probably people would think, since this has a 32 gigs of storage, this has 3 gigs of RAM, but no, it has only 2 gigs of RAM. That's why I wanted to, you know, install the CPU-Z and show you guys the actual specs on that. So even with the 2 gigs of RAM, I mean, the software is not optimized, even though it's a plain vanilla clean stock Android. This phone struggles. There's a lot of stuttering, shuddering issues, switching between apps. There's like lags within the app. Overall, the experience is very, very frustrating. So if you are like me, expecting that since this is a little bit more expensive than those cheaper phones which you can get for $30 to $50, and you're expecting that this phone would actually work a little better than them, I would say save your money. You just need a burner phone for a few days, buy the cheapest one that's there, because this is no better than the cheaper phone. They work the same. They are both are equally bad. I mean, so if I was you, I would skip this one. That's all, guys. That's all for me today for this Nokia 3.1A. I hope you guys like my videos. Do leave in your comments, subscribe to my channels to get the latest updates, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, bye.